Hi, in this video we're going to talk about the three middle class traps that keeps you poor and keeps you stuck forever in your financial life. Number 1, middle class people don't understand risk. We have to acknowledge the fact that life inherently is risky. Be it starting a business, be it in your health, be it in your relationships, be it with money. Risk is inherent. Your business can fail. You can be laid off from your job. Your investment entirely could be wiped off, right? All these are risky. And what we have to do is that we should acknowledge that it is risky and we have to manage the risk and not try to avoid the risk. They're not ready to invest their money in the stock market, but they're ready to spend lots of money on buying lottery tickets, hoping that someday they might win. Let me give you an example. Let's take Nifty 50. Nifty 50 is the top 50 companies of the Indian economy, which is listed in the Indian Stock Exchange, right? Now, let's do an SIP. SIP is something like a small amount of money deposited in a frequency, which means it can be monthly, it can be weekly, it can be quarterly into the SIP fund. Now what we are going to do is do a monthly SIP in the Nifty 50 index for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years and for 20 years period, and then we are going to compare all of their returns. Okay, if you did SIP in the Nifty 50 index for 1 year, your returns can be anywhere between plus 60% and minus 40%, which means if you have invested 100 rupees throughout the entire year, your return can become 160 rupees or it can reduce and become 60 rupees. Now, let's say you invest in it for 3-year period. Now your investment returns can be anywhere between 40% and minus 10%. Now let us do this for 5-year period. In 5 years your returns can range anywhere between 20% and your minimum return on investment will be 0%, which means if you have invested 100 rupees year on year, your investment stays 100 rupees and it does not go negative. Okay, now let's continue doing this for 15 years and 20 years. You know what? Something magical happens. If you do an SIP in the Nifty 50 for 15 years, your maximum return that you can gain is 15%. But you know what? The minimum return you can gain in 15 years is 10%, which clearly means that you will not lose money in a 15-year period while investing in the stock market in the index fund. Now do this for 20 years, your maximum returns is 15% and your minimum return is 13%. So it's almost like a guarantee that you will get 13 to 15% your return on investment if you stay consistent and do an SIP for 20-year long period. But you can ask me whether how can you say this is a guarantee? Is this not risky? Yes, it is risky, but you can learn to manage your risk. The pattern is clear. If you invest for a short term, your investments are more likely to be negative. But if you invest for a long term, your investments are more likely to be positive. On top of that, there is a 20% short term capital gains tax if you invest just for 1 year. But in the case of long term investing, there is only 12.5% tax. So clearly, even the government wants you to invest long term in the stock market. People who trade money, people who lose money in the market, people who make short term investments, these people mostly lose money in the market. 9 out of 10 people who trade in the stock market lose money. And this is a data from SEBI. Also, the people who invest for a short term, they might get huge returns, or if you have invested in a period like 2008 or 2020, your portfolio can come crashing down. And this is the classic middle class trap. People don't want to invest long term, they don't have patience. Look at this data: 97% of all mutual funds are exited within the first 5 years. But after 5 years is where the compounding happens. You have to have patience and you have to trust the market to give it time to make it long term so that you make positive returns, right? Also, more than 50% of mutual funds are exited within the first year. They don't get high returns, they also have to pay short term capital gains tax on it, which is 20%. Number two, it is far more easier, hands down, for you to double your income rather than focusing on doubling your investment. And most middle class people focus on doubling their investment, not on their income. That is the biggest trap. Instead, what you can do is invest on yourself, invest on your career, invest on upskilling yourself, buy books, buy courses, and upskill yourself to double your income. And then instead of investing 10 rupees, 100 rupees, or 1000 rupees per month in the stock market or in buying some assets, you can invest a large amount which can become a meaningful investment instead of just saving up 10 rupees and ending up with a 20,000 rupees portfolio after so much years, right? Also, remember that the stock market or any asset is for managing and multiplying your wealth, not for creating your wealth. Use assets to multiply your wealth, use stock market to multiply your wealth, not create your wealth. Creation has to come from your income. It can be your business, it can be your 9 to 5, it can be anything. Try to make multiple side hustles, try to make multiple income streams, and your income has to come from there. Your stock market is not your income, it has to be your multiplying machine. Trap number 3: the difference between rich and wealthy. Middle class people spend a lots of amount of money on trying to be seen as rich. They buy all the materialistic stuffs, they buy the car, they buy the watches, they go on vacations, they go on trips just to show off to their friends or to their people that they can do all of these, and they show themselves to be rich. But in reality, if you don't enjoy that trip, if you don't necessarily need that watch or need that iPhone, but just to showing off, just for impressing someone, you are doing these things, then it is completely wrong and you're not rich. Stop trying to look rich and become really rich, which means try to build wealth. Wealth can be, allocating money in your assets, investing, saving, and you can do much things to upskill yourself. You can do things to build your dream. You can do things to build your business or something like that. You have to have your own dream, your own goal, and that has to be your priority, not showing off to others. That is fake rich, and this is wealth. And wealth can be different for different people. There are so many people who genuinely want themselves to be like fancy, like buy these expensive stuffs, like the materialistic things. If you are one of that person, then it is totally fine. If you are that person who wants to become a billionaire, who wants to buy a yacht, who wants to buy a mansion, who wants to drive a Lamborghini, then it's totally fine. But if you do these things just to impress someone, that is what I'm talking about. If you ask me, if I'm in the age of 50, all I dream about, my true wealth will be, staying in the mountains, owning a farmland, and having a beautiful family. These things are wealth for me, and having real assets that back me, that can provide me for my entire life, that can make me retire in my 40s. That is what real wealth is for me. It's not the fancy things that I can show off to my friends or to you. I hope you found this video valuable. If you found it, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you so much for watching. I am Santhosh Kanna. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.